The U.S. Commerce Secretary is thanking Canada for rescinding its digital services tax. And Ottawa says talks are now once again underway after a decision last night by the Prime Minister's office to axe the levy on U.S. tech giants just hours before it was set to take effect. The retroactive tax suddenly became a non-negotiable for U.S. President Donald Trump over the weekend. He said if Canada followed through, he would entirely terminate negotiations with Ottawa on tariffs. It's the latest in a tumultuous back and forth between Prime Minister Mark Carney's government and the Trump administration.
The reason is very clear. They're not hiding it in the news release that the government put out yesterday. It really is about getting trade negotiations on track. They say it's in anticipation of a mutually beneficial comprehensive trade agreement with the United States. And then Mark Carney, in that news release, said that in the negotiations on this new economic and security relationship between Canada and the United States, and this is the key part, Canada's new government will always be guided by the overall contribution of any possible agreement to the best interests of Canadian workers and businesses. In other words, the agreement is more important than the DST. And it says that today's announcement, or he says, will support a resumption of negotiations toward the July 21st, 2025 timeline set out at the G7 Leaders Summit in Kananaskis. And that deadline nearly went out the window Friday when Donald Trump suspended talks, said that unless Canada got rid of the DST that was to go into effect today, that talks were off. Not only was it going into effect today for the future, it was a retroactive tax for the last 3 years, looking to bring in about $2 billion, just that retroactive part. So foregoing quite a bit of revenue by doing this move now.